We have two options. You laid it out.
There's a motion in the second to approve option 2, which is the state law.
Well, they're both consistent with state law. Right, they're both consistent with state law.
Well, motion's already.
We just want to be sure that we adopt.
Well, let's get out what the state law does. What does it exactly say?
Well, as Mr. McLeod pointed out, state law gives this body the option to enact the first ordinance or the option to enact the second. Well, you have to enact some ordinance because your existing law is no longer consistent with state law. So the second ordinance brings you in compliance with state law, and that's the point of the motion. Just want to make sure that page 63 exhibit 1
is exhibit 1 and exhibit 2.
right, and page 63 is exhibit 2, which I believe is the ordinance that includes in the motion.
Well, my motion was to no restriction whatever the state law allows. The Constitution of the United States says citizens have the right to bear arms. You would say exactly where. That's exhibit 2. I think it's a little more restricted than what the state allows.
Well, it's simply, if you look on page 64, section 2113B, amends your existing state law to be consistent, and it specifically says that concealed handgun permittees may lawfully carry their guns in city parks, facilities, etc.
You know, I've seen some, look on YouTube with some videos, you'll see gangsters or gangster wannabes, they're flashing their guns. Some of those happen to be in parks. And I don't think they're all concealed carriers.
You may have already answered this question, but for the record, is the motion to approve option 2.
Yeah, those two options would be option 2.
All right, and was your second to approve option 2?
Yes, sir. Exhibit 2, that.
Exhibit 2, option 2.
And that allows the carrying of handguns with concealed weapons in parks, recreation facilities, and grounds.
Yes. If you look on page 64, that paragraph covers the area.
I just want to make a comment. I remember 16 years ago when the state was considering whether or not we should have a carry concealed weapon at all. And a lot of the same questions and a lot of the same issues were brought up then. And some of the opinion was that our state would turn into a wild, wild west, and that there would be all kinds of increase in crime activity, all kinds of increase in accidental discharges and that type of thing. And some of the gentlemen stated that was true. I made a call out of curiosity myself this week to our sheriff of Cobb County, Sheriff Floyd Reed, and obviously the sheriff's department regulates and is responsible for issuing and doing background checks and everything associated with our carry concealed in this county. And he told me not only in his tenure as sheriff, but obviously he's been in the sheriff's department for a considerable amount of time. And he says he has no recollection of any incidences where law-abiding citizens who go and get their carry concealed weapons permit have been any type of serious allegations where someone has been injured or shot or killed or anything like that. He said that there have been some minor incidences that did not involve any type of violence where folks had their carry concealed revoked, but that was very limited, and he wasn't aware of any major incidences. And in Chicago County, there's slightly over 5,000 folks who have their carry concealed weapons, from I think it's 5,050 something like that. Myself, I one time was a carry concealed instructor, and I worked with the police department. I know that these folks, when they told you about the training and about all the things they must go through, including the background check, and not only that, but they have to be reviewed. So I know that the facts that have been stated here are true as far as that's concerned. I understand that there are some people that are opposed to it, and I understand the reasons that they're opposed to it, but I believe that situation than what we have now. So I would obviously be in favor of this not restricting in any way, shape, form, or fashion a person's right to carry concealed if they go through the legal ways to do that.
Well, I'll offer a perspective too. I have a concealed carry permit. I've been saying for sure for a week. I've never been on them. I don't know that I'll ever be on them. But one thing I want to do is see what's involved in getting it. And you've got to go to considerable time, effort, and spend more than a little money to get it. So I got it. I don't know what I'm going to do with it, guys. I'll be honest. Don't tell anybody outside this room that I'm I'm going to cut the race all of that. Neither of these options do anything about my number one concern and the number one ill of legal ownership of firearms and legal use of firearms, and that's home safety. Most of the problems with guns happen in the home. This doesn't affect that one way or the other. And so I asked myself, do I feel safer in the park if I think that good law-abiding citizens might have a concealed carry weapon, and the criminals might think, probably criminal minds being what they are, they probably would think that we're all scared to death and have it. And I honestly can say that I feel safer thinking about good law-abiding citizens possibly having an arm, or at least the criminals thinking they do, than I do thinking the criminals know we don't have it. That's my answer.
Well, I'm just thinking 16 years, 390 some permits, we've had nothing but one instance of shooting. I believe Colonel said it isn't broke. Just don't fix it. I don't think we have a problem.
When you say, what's the difference between this and some of the other locations where concealed carry is still prohibited, and we're not lobbying, I guess, to eliminate those prohibitions? Parks are a different animal compared to most of those things. Parks, people gather. They're outdoors. We don't have people gathering here at the municipal building often. If they do, we have to have a permit all day together. So I see a difference in it.
My only problem is that, if Hickory does, and Longview doesn't, and what, I mean, I don't have a gun, but what is somebody that has a gun, when traveling, what does he have to do? Just take it out, put it in, Or how does he
You
do
got to
it?
keep it locked in the car.
I mean, how does he know?
You got to keep it locked in the car.
Well, the law requires, you're going to prohibit, you got to post it. So the default position is that weapons are allowed in city parks and recreational
So
facilities.
I didn't get into that yet. The posting is a tricky issue when you don't, unless you just ban them in all city and park facilities. Posting is tricky because you're going to have no gun areas, and you're going to have gun areas. Any further discussion?
Yes, I have a comment. I raised two children who took part in park activities. I'm a walker. I walk all over town. I do not live in fear. I don't feel any safer because someone else is carrying them. And I do believe that in the course of my time on city council, I have taken some fairly courageous stands, and this will probably be mine because I am opposed to allowing guns. I think that we have a fine recreational stand. I think the instances of crime in our park is minimum. And I heard a constituent call me
who is still shaking their head that we're having this discussion.
The only thing I would say is, I went through and counted all of the, what I consider to be serious criminal acts in our parks. And there's a whole lot more than I would say. Whole lot. Now, will this one affect it? I don't know. But I don't think it's gonna make it work.
Another thing that comes to light too is how do you enforce this? I mean, you look at option one, it's 6 pages long here. And each park has got its own limitations. Are we going to put a sign up in exactly what spots and which parks you're allowed to do that? I mean, so, I mean, if somebody wants to carry a gun on the walking path, I didn't see that listed anywhere. But if they have to cross the playground to get there, you're going to arrest them as they cross the playground, so they have at the playground. I mean, you're going to run into some real sticky situations with that law the way it is, or proposed order.
Another thing, I've only had a gun put on me one time by somebody who was angry. It was not anything that I did. I was trying to be a peacemaker. The gun was pulled directly on me, and that person didn't have a concealed carry. Okay? Fortunately, nothing happened. Maybe if you thought that half of us there had concealed carries, maybe you wouldn't have pulled that gun. I don't know. It's a tough issue. Any further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed, no.
No.
We have 6 ayes, 1 no, Mrs. Fox voted no. The reason I announced the votes, for those of you who are new here, is we have a blind individual who wanted to know the results of the votes immediately. So that's why we announced it. What's our next piece of business?